So now I'm going to show you how to use the lacrosse ball in your hips to release tension. You can use a lacrosse ball, you can use a tennis ball, you could use something that's softer than a tennis ball. I wouldn't use anything that's like super big, like, I don't know, a basketball. That would be kind of ridiculous. But some sort of ball that's either smaller or maybe to this big, that's really soft, that can feel good if you have a lot of tenderness or tension. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do first, because it can be kind of hard to see what's happening with the ball under my hips. So just a little anatomy. I'm going to show you. So your sacrum and your tailbone make kind of a triangular bone here, and your hip bones come across and around, and your spine goes down. So your spine goes down, turns into your sacrum and your tailbone, and then your hips come across. So the first thing we're going to do is start with the lacrosse ball kind of in this corner, the corner of underneath your hip bone, and then to the side of your sacrum. So you never want to roll on a bone, but we are going to follow just inside of the bones to get all those nice muscle attachments. So the first thing we'll do is roll up and down along the edge of your sacrum and getting all of the nice muscle attachments there. Next, we'll roll underneath your hip bone to the outside of your hip, getting your glute medius attachments and glute max. And then last, we'll start in this corner and we'll roll down, getting the lateral attachments of a lot of the smaller muscles that run horizontally across your hip. So those are the three positions. And then we'll switch to the other side, starting on the outside of your sacrum here and underneath your hip bone. So you'll start in that corner and you'll go down and up. And then we'll go across underneath your hip bone, and then we'll go down and get the lateral attachments right next to the ball and socket joint. So now that you saw that, let's give it a try. So you can put the ball on the floor and then just lean onto the ball, and you can find the spot that feels best for you. You want to be on the outside of your sacrum, so not on the bone, and you want to be right underneath your hip bone, so also not on the bone. You're just in that corner of the meaty part of your hip. So then we'll roll up and down. So you can have your elbows underneath you, or you can lay flat on the ground like this. Lying flat on the ground will put a little less pressure on the ball, and being up will put a little more pressure. So let's start by just rolling down and see how that feels. If that feels like too much, then you can lie on your back, and you can still use your legs to roll you up and down on the ball. I like to be up because I feel like I can get a little more motion, and I can use my shoulders to help me move. But it also depends on how much pressure you want to get in there. So we're just rolling up and down. If you find an area that feels really tight, you can stop and rest on that spot. Feel it release slowly. Or you can do a small motion to just release that very specific area. So play around with that a little bit, see what feels good. If it just feels way too intense, then use a softer ball. So a tennis ball is a good thing to start with, or if you have like a Nerf type ball or something that's softer and maybe even bigger than a tennis ball, that might feel good. The most intense kind of ball is going to be like a lacrosse ball or a very small, super dense one. So try rolling up and down a couple more times. And then bring the ball back up to that corner that you started in. And now we're going to move side to side, right underneath your hip bone. This gets the glute medius attachments up along your hip. Can get into the glute max and usually feels really good. If you want, you can try not being propped up on your elbows and let your upper back rest on the ground, and then just lift your hips up a little bit so that you can glide across the ball. Sometimes you need to readjust the ball too. Also try going faster or slower across the ball. I think it can feel good to go a little faster to start with, to just break up that surface tension, and then as you get deeper, to go slow or to stop in the spot and just rest. You can also rest on the ball and move your knees a little bit and see how that creates a different kind of pressure. I remember when I first started doing this, I thought it was really difficult. It all kind of hurt, and I wasn't sure if it was a good hurt or a bad hurt, and I didn't know where the ball was, and it was kind of intense. So go slow, and I think as you do it and you break up tension and you try different angles, you can really start to fine-tune how you massage your own hips. So then the last one we'll do on this side is to go up and down along the outside of your hip. So you can start in the outside corner, so you're right under your hip bone. And then you'll just go up and down. You can angle your knees a little bit towards the side that the ball is on, and that will put a little more pressure on those attachments in the ball. Or if that's too much, you can have your legs straight up and just roll up and down on the ball. So that is how you get the attachments in your hip. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and do the other side. So starting here, going up and down, and going across, and going up and down again. All right, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.